Welcome to the Growth and Banter podcast. My name is Blake McCullough, CEO and founder of GMS Media Group and Casper Group, Australia's leading digital advertising and full service agencies. This podcast is for anyone looking to learn the insights and strategies of industry leaders and how to build and lead a successful life. Today, we're joined by Monique Riley, and she's going to share her journey of winning Miss Universe Australia in 2022 and how that experience shaped her to becoming a business owner and creating Mrs Matcha. I hope you enjoy. Welcome, Monique.
Thank you.
How's the day?
Yeah, pretty good. The weather's not the best, but you can make do with what we have.
That's it. Exactly right. So the first time we've had an opportunity to sit down. I know we've sort of unpacked some things that you've been up to recently. You're the founder of Mrs Matcha, and you've also crowned the winner of the Miss Universe Australia in 2022. You've done some other things like getting the ring, and I know that you're sort of about to do the commentating over in Perth at a boxing event.
Yes.
So you've got quite a holistic view on life and also business that I want to unpack with you today. But let's start off with what led you to be crowned at Miss Universe Australia in 2022?
It was a very long journey and definitely one I didn't expect. Going into the competition, I had just come off the back of a construction job in a very male-dominant industry. I'd been in Sydney for many years, hadn't made many female friends, and I was like, you know what? Miss Universe Australia opportunity kind of presented itself to me, and I was like, if nothing else, I can go into this competition, meet some other like-minded women and make some female friendships here in Sydney because I moved here at the age of 21 and then kind of just got stuck straight into work.
Where did you move from?
Queensland. I grew up in Noosa.
Love
my mom's
Noosa.
Still in Noosa. I actually was there on the weekend, so that was a nice little reset.
My most visited place out of Sydney. I go there, or used to go there every year and still do frequent there. I love it.
No way. It's such a nice holiday destination place. But in terms of growth, I think once you graduate high school, it's a good place to retire and it's a good place to raise a family. But when you're in your hustle years,
not in between.
Unless you want to go into real estate or kind of work in retail or in cafes and that, it's a hard place to grow. So yeah, off the back of moving to Sydney and then working in the construction industry, I was like, I think applying for this Miss Universe Australia program could be a good step in the right direction just to make new connections here in Sydney. And then I took out New South Wales state finalist and then went on to nationals for Miss Universe Australia. I was very shocked myself. When I was crowned Miss Universe New South Wales for Australia, they were like, does your parents know? I was like, oh, my mom does. My mom was kind of like, yeah, you should just get involved with it. My dad had no idea at the time. They were like, look, like you've got a good chance at this. You should probably like let your parents know. And because I had no one even there on the night of state finals, I was just kind of there to have fun, just winging it, and didn't put the pressure on anyone to show up because I didn't think it'd really go further than that. And then I went on to become a national finalist and then be crowned Miss Universe Australia of 2022. And then, my life really changed from that point onwards. So it was never really a huge dream or goal of mine to become Miss Universe Australia. It was kind of just, an opportunity that came about. And I put my best foot forward, tried my hardest and walked out with the crown. So it was a crazy experience.
And there's Miss World and Miss Universe, right?
Yep.
What's the difference between the two institutions?
There's many different ones now. There's like Miss Cosmo, Miss Earth. There's many different Miss World kind of derivatives of Miss Universe. Miss Universe is the OG though. And I think it's the most renowned of the beauty pageants. The difference are they look for different things in different candidates. Like there's a Miss Sustainability, I think, as well, which is obviously more pointed towards sustainable futures and things like that, whereas Miss Universe is really about not just your looks, but who you are as a person and a presence you bring to a room and the growth you can have if you were to be crowned Miss Universe. So,
which is like key, right? It's about the whole character of the person, not just the looks on stage.
Which is why I kind of got involved in the first place. If it was just based on looks, I find that very shallow and be like, no, I'm not being a part of this program. But it's about so much more than that. So
awesome.
It was good to be a part of.
And the process involved in like getting into it, winging it, then realizing you had something as a chance to win it. Like, how long was that process, and at what point did it start to become not so much winging it, but a bit like, fuck, this is getting a bit real and scary?
Honestly, as crazy as it sounds, the whole process from when I applied for Miss Universe Australia was in January of 2022. I wasn't crowned towards the end. It was like end of October, close to the start of November of 2022. So it was almost like a 11th month process to get to Miss Universe Australia.
Yeah, wow.
And honestly, it didn't feel real, or it didn't feel like I wasn't really like sure that I could have a shot at it until I was announced in the top 10 and I had to answer my question on stage in front of a lot of people. And we didn't know what the question was. We got asked it on the spot in front of the whole audience. And I was like, whoa, this is real. This is actually...
What was the question?
Crazily enough, it was, there's top 10 question and there's top 5 question. Top 5 question that year, they tell you beforehand, everyone finds out, and you get to prepare an answer. But top 10 is completely unknown. And my top 10 question was the same as my top 5 question.
Oh, wow.
So it was the hardest thing too, because imagine getting up on stage and having to reword a whole answer that you'd prepared for top 5.
Is that like a benefit or like is that a con?
Well, the top 5 question was, if you could ask yourself anything, what would it be? No, if you could ask yourself any question, what would it be? So every girl in the Miss Universe national contest was able to come up with a question that they would ask themselves if they were to be put in top 5. And mine was advice I would give to my younger self.
Okay.
Then it came to the top 10 questions, which is before top 5, and you draw a name out of the hat, which is completely random out of the selection committee. I pulled out the name, and the question that my selection committee person had been given to ask me was, what's advice you would give to the younger generations? And I was like, oh my gosh, if I'm to make top 5 now, this is like pretty much the same question. They're going to think I just copied whatever my top 10 question was.
Okay, so the top 10 was what would you give yourself advice, and the top 5 was what would you give the generation
below? Top 10 was, what would you give to the generation below? What advice would you give to the generation below? And my question was, what advice would I give to my younger self? So my answers, I just had to kind of like reword them. But yeah, it wasn't until that moment that I was standing up on that stage answering a question live in front of an audience that I was like, whoa, I really have a shot at this. And when I answered so fluently and like confidently, I even shocked myself, because I remember standing there and I was called number 9 in top 10. So I had to listen to 9 girls answer their question before me. And 9 questions are being pulled out of the hat, and I just froze. I'm like, I wouldn't know how to answer this. I wouldn't know what to say. And then I was like, what am I going to do when it gets to me? I don't even know how to answer their questions. And then, I drew my question out.
It was just fit for you.
Yeah.
Destiny.
And then I just kind of started talking and I answered it, and I was like, wow, okay, I've really got a shot at this. And it was kind of at that moment that I was like, this is serious. I actually have a chance at taking out this.
Yeah, wow. How good.
Yeah.
And what was the feeling of winning? What was the elation like?
It was... You actually see in the video, there's the video of it when I get crowned, and I look so shocked. I'm like looking around like, what? I didn't believe it. It was like all of the many, many years of hard work that I put in finally paid off on that one night. And it's like people saw my journey from January to end of October for Miss Universe Australia, but my journey went long beyond that. The year of 2022. I moved out of home at the age of 17. I went to university, studied full time. I was working 3 jobs. Then I auditioned for NIDA straight off the back of getting my bachelor's degree, came down to Sydney by myself at 21, put in a lot of hard work for many, many years. And in that moment, it felt like the many, many years of hard work that had gone unnoticed finally was being noticed. So it was a really, really like full 360 moment that felt a lot more than 10 months worth of hard work.
And you're no longer on your own, just winging it in silence, trying to win some global event.
Yeah, kind of. Now it's kind of like that in my business. It's like starting a new venture off the back of Miss Universe and going into Mrs Matcha, not having done anything like that kind of business before. I kind of felt like I was back at the start again.
Yeah. And obviously like it's a huge thing. Like that's obviously set yourself up from a personal brand point of view, which we'll get into today. And also from the business, Jennifer Hawkins she was Miss Universe as well,
she was Miss Universe,
and look at her career as a result of that, like what it can do.
She's like a known household name now in Australia.
Yeah. So like I'm sure you probably had that, in your mind of like, wow, this can open up a lot of doors. Yeah. And it has for you.
For sure.
So let's talk about, like after Miss Universe, you coming up with the idea of Miss Matcha.
So in the year of being Miss Universe Australia, I traveled a lot. I did something like over 60 flights in 1 year, in the year of 2022 to 2023.
During the contestant.
Yeah. So I was crowned, and then I had 3 months to prepare to go overseas and represent Australia on the world stage, which I placed within the top 16 of the world against all the other countries. And then after that, I traveled a lot. I had photo shoots in Amsterdam. I had content creation weeks in like Vietnam. I then had to go back to Thailand to represent Australia for the Miss Universe. They kind of had this other part that I was involved in as well. So it was just a lot of traveling backwards and forwards. And being lactose intolerant, I, back in Australia, loved soy milk and oat milk, but I'd find when I traveled, the alternative milks overseas didn't taste the same. So I was always like, I'd not really look forward to drinking coffee over there. And I was like, maybe I should try this matcha drink that everyone's drinking overseas. We didn't really have it in Australia then. I never really saw it on menus or had heard about it. I'd seen a few things on social media about it, and I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. We'll see how it tastes. I tried it in New York for the first time, and it was the worst drink I'd ever had. I was like, I can't believe I just
I'm going to start a business of
spent my money on this. This is disgusting. But in that store, I didn't get it on any type of milk. I got matcha with warm water. I don't know why or what made me think to get that, but I was like, whoa, this is disgusting. This is definitely not my drink of choice. And then like a month later, I was in Dubai and I just finished a spin class in Dubai and walked out, and they had this health and wellness store next door, and they had bottled matcha there, like small plastic bottles that were made fresh every day. And I was like, you know what, I'll give it another shot. It's on oat milk. I like oat milk. So I got it, and it was a really small bottle. I think it was only like 200 ml or something. And I drank it in like 2 seconds. And I was like, this is so nice. And then I was traveling every day back to this place just to get this matcha drink. And I became addicted to it in the week I was in Dubai. I got back to Australia, and I remember I'd be working and all I'd be craving was this matcha drink. And I'd go around, I'd spend like half an hour driving around Sydney trying to find a cafe that had matcha. And then my next hurdle, when I would finally find a cafe that would have matcha, would be, I'd be like, hey, sorry, can I see the ingredients in it? Because I noticed a lot of them were really sweet. Anytime I'd find one, it would taste like sugary milk. And then I noticed a lot of the cafes in Sydney were using a brand that is about 80 or 90% sugar, 5% matcha, and it also had milk solids in it. So being lactose intolerant, I couldn't even drink it. And I was just like, why is it such a struggle to find good matcha here overseas? I could find it pretty much on every corner. And that's when I started doing my research and reaching out to farms in Japan. I had someone on the ground in Japan who knew more about it than I did. So they kind of spoke with the locals. And then from there, I started importing samples direct from Japan to Australia and came to Mrs Matcha. I found the sample that I was most in love with. And from there, moved forward with my business.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. And I think I watched somewhere that the name itself, Mrs Matcha, is your name, right?
Yeah, so my full name is Monique Riley Schroeder.
I was wondering where the S came in.
Yeah. Riley's my middle name, but I'm known across social media platforms. And as Miss Universe Australia, I was recognised as Monique Riley, but my surname is Schroeder. So MRS comes from my initials. Back in my university days when I was studying fashion, I always wanted to create a clothing line called Mr. and Mrs. The Label. And then when I started my matcha brand, I was like, what am I going to call it? And then I was like, you know what? I could use that name, the one I wanted to use for a clothing label, but make it Mrs. Matcha instead. And it stuck. So, yeah.
So good. And look, I can relate. I'm lactose intolerant as well. I only found out, I think, a year ago.
Wow.
I was getting just like, stomach pains and had a...
It's not good.
Endoscopy. They put the tube down your throat.
Yeah.
You have a look. And I'm probably not like as allergic to some people because I can still have some dairy.
Same. And I feel like they put a little bit of dairy in everything, whether they're cooking with butter or...
For sure.
They have a slight, like, small amount of cheese in things.
Like
if you have too much of it, it's just,
it's risky.
yeah, of course. I used to break out from it too.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So we're twins.
Yeah,
also
literally.
dressing pretty similar too. Same
colour,
colour, all brown. But yeah, like same goes for me. I remember I used to drink full cream and then went on to alternative milk. I got a friend who has a macadamia milk business.
Oh, yeah.
So I got hooked on that. And then now I've gone, because I was doing like this like elimination diet at one point to check what was going on. And I started drinking long blacks during that process. And now all I can drink is long blacks.
That's the same as me. If I'm not drinking matcha, I'm drinking long blacks.
How funny.
I just find it too milky otherwise. I'm like, no, even if it's alternative milk, I'm like, no.
Fully. But yeah, it's hard. Like overseas, I do find that there is a lack of alternative milks. I think we're pretty
For
strong
sure.
here, but then we
Yeah.
don't know what's in it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we're drinking almond milks and all these alternative milks and other processed things, and
A lot of them have vegetable oils. They've got
that's
a
it.
lot of other nasty ingredients that you think you're taking a healthy route, but in fact it's not, and you're doing worse than any good.
Yeah.
Which is the same kind of thing with people drinking matcha today. They try and move across to a health and wellness drink, and then they don't realize that the cafes putting the matcha directly in that already has in 1 tablespoon 3/4 of that is sugar. So
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like if you're drinking something every day, or sometimes multiple coffees a day.
Yeah.
Like you want to sort of know what's going in your body, right?
Exactly.
But let's talk about the health benefits of matcha.
Sure.
I know there's a lot of antioxidants. I know it's a general well-being, supplement. But like, what else? What other health benefits does matcha present?
It's packed with a lot of health benefits, honestly. It's got L-theanine as well. So just like coffee, it's got caffeine in it. Only coffee spikes in your bloodstream. So that's why when you have your first coffee, you get that like high almost where you're like, I've got energy and it wakes you up. But then it's followed by a crash shortly after. The L-theanine in matcha, it actually releases the caffeine slowly into your bloodstream. So there's no spike. So you kind of get like this steady increase of energy, but it helps you maintain focus. So if you've got a big day of work ahead, rather than constantly being up and down all day every time you have a coffee, it's kind of like slow releasing energy into your bloodstream, which helps you maintain more focus.
Yeah.
It also, there's a lot of studies coming out now to say that it has many benefits and there's actually a chance that it could be something that stops cancer. So a lot of studies still in the works at the moment, but that's another really big health benefit of it. It's, like you said, really, really high in antioxidants, which are very good for your overall health and well-being, can help with your skin, can help with more like glowy, radiant skin, more shiny hair. Honestly,
Everything.
endless health benefits.
Drug.
Yeah, literally.
How good. Well, let's, Tara, do you want to go down and get some... What do we need to make one right now?
I've got Mrs Matcha here, so it depends. It's raining today. Do you want a hot one? Do you want an iced one?
What do you...
Okay.
That I've actually never had a good matcha. I think I might have tried it once or twice, and I probably had a bad experience like you did initially with it.
Yeah.
So whatever you feel is going to give me the biggest wow.
You know what? We'll get them to make one iced and one hot so you can try both.
Do one iced, one hot, and what milk do we need?
Oat milk for sure. Oat milk.
All right, we'll wait for Tara to come back with that one.
Perfect. Sounds good.
And how has it been since launching the business? Like I have seen a few other brands. One actually hit me up recently because with marketing we get a lot of product businesses hitting us up, and there's so many new innovative powdered drinks and another one of my clients' brands is in the hydration space, performance fuel. So we're sort of it seems like we're going really niche with a lot of these products, which is great because people are wanting to, the health shift in society is we're in the middle of that right now.
It's actually crazy how much the shift has happened.
Yeah.
Especially over the last 12 months.
Yeah, 100%. And just going more niche because there's way more competition. How are you finding the industry as a whole right now?
Honestly, at the start, it was a little bit scary, especially because I started my brand 3 years ago, long before the matcha hype kind of hit. So obviously, naturally, when anything is trending, every wannabe entrepreneur is going to jump on it, really. Anyone who is kind of business savvy is going to be like, oh, I see this is spiking, let's jump on it. But thankfully for me, because I started it 3 years ago, due to the huge demand for matcha right now, there has been a shortage across Japan.
Right.
And even my supplier, the farm I get from, they haven't taken on any new clients. I was really worried about that in the beginning. I thought, you know what, people are going to come in and this is going to become an oversaturated market. But the shortage kind of hit at the same time. So even for me, I struggled for a while there to be able to get stock and just to be able to service my current cafes that are on board. So I feel like with this kind of spike in powdered health drinks kind of came this spike in people wanting to start matcha businesses, but due to the current shortage, it's kind of made it a little bit harder for them to get in on the market, which is a blessing in disguise. Yeah,
we're in such a consumerism world. I don't know if you watched that documentary. I always forget the name of it, but there's this documentary on consumerism on Netflix and how much we are consuming and also disposing of things. And even if you're looking at the phones today, iPhones today are meant to be disposed of, whereas before, you could go take it to a repair shop and easily fix it. Now it's they make you just chuck it out.
Literally,
things
or I feel like they
expire.
slow things down enough to make you want to throw it out. Like, I'm like, why is my battery life all of a sudden not lasting like it used to? And I'm like, this is making me want to get a new one. This is exactly what they wanted.
Fully, yeah. And it's just like we're fueling this whole consumeristic mentality that the world can't sustain. I swear maybe it's because we were young and didn't have money, but like you'd have like one pair of shoes and look after them,
Literally,
or one like pair of sunglasses, and like if it broke, the world would end. Now it's like, oh, I just want another pair.
I know. I remember as a child, like when winter would come, my mum would take us shopping for our winter wardrobe. You'd go shopping once, grab a few outfits to last you that winter.
Yep.
Summer comes, same thing. You obviously wouldn't fit the clothes from the year before. You go shopping once or twice, grab your summer wardrobe. That's your summer wardrobe. You've got those pieces. They're your staples. Now it's like every single night you're online shopping. Every single day you're walking past shops with that week's new season arrivals. And yeah, it's such a consumer-based world now.
It is, and obviously we have social media to blame for that. But I guess a lot of us wouldn't be here in business if it wasn't for it. So
no,
it's
that's
like,
true.
It's a catch-22 with it all.
Yeah.
Silly question. What is matcha even made out of?
It's made from a green tea leaf. So a green tea leaf is kind of just a different process of getting to the tea. So matcha is a form of tea. It's a traditional Japanese tea. But what they do is they shade grow the tea leaf instead of putting it in the direct sunlight. They shade grow it and they take it at a younger age, and it's pressed in a mill into a finely crushed powder. So because it's taken at a younger age too, the health benefits are higher than what it would be for if you to say you went and had a cup of green tea. There's like 10 times the amount they say of antioxidants in matcha as opposed to green tea when they literally come from pretty much the same plant.
Yeah,
so
right. Okay.
just different stages of the plant's life.
Yeah, and Japan would know. They've got a rich culture.
For sure.
I think it's one of Japan, or somewhere in Japan, is one out of only a few blue areas where there are a study of centurions, so people that live over 100, due to the practices and what they eat, consume, traditions, community, climate.
And health is a big part of their culture, I think, too, which is probably what helps, obviously, them live that longer life.
Yeah, for sure. Another friend who's been on the podcast, she's got Soul Tonic, which is the anti-hangover Korean pear juice.
Okay.
Sorry, it'll be not Japan, it'll be Korea, wouldn't it? But yeah, she sort of had to go over there and find supplies of Korean pears and go through that whole process. A very cool story. Yeah. So yeah, it's like we, being in, I guess, a young, youngish sort of westernized area as Australia, like we have to take a lot from what's going on overseas in other countries, right?
For sure.
Yeah. So what is like some of the main ways that you get the brand out there from a marketing point of view?
Honestly, it's a little bit different to what most people do. I feel like my brand is 100% driven by me and the story I've created behind it, and through my followers experiencing with me and expanding my business with me. It's funny, recently, actually, I was speaking on my stories about how 3 years ago I didn't even know what matcha was, and I had so many people inbox me and say, you were actually the first person who introduced matcha to me too, long before this hype. And it's crazy because now we go to cafes and we see strawberry matchas and mango matchas and coconut matchas. I
think that's the first one I had. It was like a strawberry matcha, but it just was mixed with something else, and it just threw me off. I don't know.
You couldn't taste the matcha. This is just strawberry. But yeah, I feel like a lot of my following and branding comes from the fact that I introduced this to kind of an audience that didn't really know about it 3 years ago. And they've followed my journey from start to where I am now with Mrs Matcha. And they kind of celebrate my wins with me, which is really nice. I feel like a lot of people, even when I first launched my brand, didn't really care for the drink, but they just wanted to support my journey and the fact that I'd brought them along for the whole process of me sampling, me getting down to finding the right matcha. Then I'd kind of bring them along for my sampling days, because I used to go into cafes and take them a sample and show them how to make it, and they wouldn't even know what matcha was. It's funny, one of my cafes, actually, it's a burger shop. And when I went in there one day, I was talking to him about how I had my own matcha business, and I told him, you should try it. He's like, okay, I don't really see it doing well in a burger shop, like health and wellness burgers, not really on the same page. But we went in there and he tested it out. And then within like a month or 2 months, he was like, I'm selling more matcha than burgers. What's going on here? He was like, what is this like miracle drink you've introduced me to? My customers are loving it. And still to this day, he's always stayed loyal to my brand, because he's like, you're the first person who introduced me to what matcha even was. Out?
Which is this burger shop?
All Mates Cafe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where at?
It's near Marrickville, just around the corner in Earlwood.
Nice.
And yeah, still to this day, he's ordering from from me. And he's like, I've had many different other matcha brands approach me and bring in their samples. And he's kind of like, but I feel like my loyalty lies with you because you're the person who introduced me to this like magical drink in the first place. He didn't even know what it was beforehand. So
good.
I feel like most of my marketing stems from the fact that my followers have kind of been there throughout my whole journey. They'll recommend me to cafes as well. I'll have cafes reach out to me and they'll be like, oh, our regular customer recommended that we reach out and try your matcha. And I think like they haven't even tried my matcha. For them to go in and be advertising my drink that they haven't even tried, it just comes from them following my journey. So honestly, that's my main source of marketing.
Yeah, cool.
I just had a website person actually recently jump on my website and look at my SEOs and see kind of where my client base is coming from. And he said, like, you're not at all findable on Google.
Yeah, right.
He said, so it's all coming from your personal social media.
Organics, yeah.
And I was like, what? Because I don't really push it on influencers or anything like that either. I mean, fortunately enough, I'm kind of in that space as well. So if I have friends that want to try it, I'll always obviously give them matcha to try. And sometimes they'll post it on their story organically. But it's kind of grown organically and naturally over time, which is really nice because I feel like it's authentic that way. It means that the reviews are real reviews. It means that people that like it genuinely like it. And people that are recommending it genuinely are recommending it because they want to support me and the brand as opposed to doing it for like exchange for money. Yeah,
for sure. I think you've done it in the right chronological order. You know, whenever we look at, because we typically, we've got two agencies. One helps more sort of SMEs in that growth to scale phase and another one that's more enterprise. But we do get a lot that sort of are that are sort of in ideation, that are starting their brands, and we do a bit of advisory for those to get set up before they can, work or at least advertise with an agency. And I always say that, when you are proving a product or service, particularly if it is your first business, get it proven within your inner network, which is what you've done.
Yeah,
you
for
built your following first, which also is, a lot of people don't have that leverage, so that's great.
Yeah.
And then prove it to your inner network before you start going to your outer public network to get the wins on the board, to get the feedback, to iron out the user journey before you start investing money on, SEO or advertising like you mentioned.
Of course.
So it sounds like you've done it in the right way, which is how you build authenticity.
I'm glad to know that, because honestly, some people are like, how do you market your brand? It's like, even when it comes down to like photos, like people use photos obviously for their business pages on social media and stuff. I'm fortunate enough in that my cafes take all the photos for me. I give them the product. They want to promote the fact that they're selling organic matcha and that it's high grade. They'll take photos and videos and tag me. I simply repost that. I'll ask them for the photo. I'll post it on my feed. My marketing all kind of happens organically through just my businesses that use my matcha, that wholesale my matcha. They're taking the photos for me. So it all kind of just rolls out hand in hand.
Well, you have a genuine interest in it as well, obviously. There's a story to tell there. You've not just jumped on a trend like people have, because I think business owners or serial entrepreneurs or just people that are trying to give it a crack, they jump on a trend, they're not going to have that substance like you've got.
Sure.
They're going to start, they'll probably delegate it to someone else. They'll just, want someone else to do the work for them. There's not going to be that behind the scenes journey or story for people to relate to. And that's what people want today. They want to be able to.
They want a story.
People buy from people, even though it's a product. They're buying from you. They know. It is
a blessing and a curse, though. I must admit, like it's hard to step back from any part of the business when you've been the backbone of the whole thing and created the whole thing. Like often people will say to me, "Oh, like why are you delivering matcha still to cafes?" And I'm like, because I love to like go into the cafe and speak to the cafe owner still and speak to the barista and make sure they're happy with the product and make sure they're creating it and making it the right way. I mean, like it's easy enough to throw it onto a delivery driver, but I definitely still like to have that face-to-face personal connection with my cafes because, like we said, powdered drinks right now are 100% on the rise, and it's so easy for another competitor to step in and kind of take my place within the matcha industry.
For sure, you might get a big FMCG brand that just goes, cool, let's create a matcha drink, and they just get brought in that whole engine. Whereas you're doing it, you're doing it. You're on the street, you're getting the feedback, you're building the trust. So, well done.
Thank you.
Now, like with any business, there is no easy path, as you probably have experienced. What's some of the hard lessons you've learned, or the adversity over the time of starting Mrs Matcha?
For sure, how I was explaining before, the shortage, which is something we're still currently facing. Thankfully enough, I did build that relationship early days before kind of this massive growth in matcha has happened. But that's meant that the amount of quantity I can bring in, they've kind of capped it. Whereas I used to be able to import as much as I wanted. I also received a 35% price increase in one go. Most times you'll get a 5% every year or so. And I kind of copped a 35%
because of the demand
price
shortage,
increase.
The supply shortage. Sorry,
supply shortage and the demand. So, obviously, that's not something I could just push straight onto my cafes too. So I've had to wear a lot of that cost. But I'm hoping that there was also something to do with the shortage of crop this year in terms of it was to do with weather and things like that too. So I'm hoping in the future that the prices can hopefully come back down a little bit. Because even, my farm was like, we have to do this. We don't really have a choice because there's such high demand and such low matcha supplies at the moment. But I've tried to keep that as low as possible from the end of
Tyra's
the
here with
here.
the goods.
There
they make
go.
it for you downstairs. How good.
Okay.
Remade.
I'll be the judge of whether they know how to make it properly.
Yeah, wow. Pressure's on. Maybe we won't shout out them just yet until we try it.
For sure.
Okay.
Okay, go for it.
All right, which one's which? Obviously the
This
hot
one's,
ones.
okay. Try iced first, I
Obviously,
think maybe.
the cold one has the ice in it.
I think iced is a little bit easier to kind of take in the first time you're trying matcha.
Okay.
So be honest.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Are you sure?
That's good. I like it. Yeah. It's way better than the other one I had.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's such a variance in different matcha flavors.
All right. And then we'll try the hot one.
Yep.
Let's see which one I prefer.
And you can always, like, matcha naturally has a slight bitterness to it too. So you can add honey to help kind of balance that out.
Yeah, because it's got like a little bit of bitterness to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All matcha does is it's a tea leaf essentially at the end of the day. So, nice green color.
He always has the lid off on coffees, and it's really rubbed off him now. So thank you,
Why?
Jaden.
What's the reasoning?
It just tastes better. You just get more taste in it.
Okay. You can add cinnamon too to hot ones. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's more subtle. I feel with the hot one. I don't know.
I feel like too that's quite a large cup, so there's probably a bit more milk in that one, which might make it more subtle.
That one,
more punch?
can taste more punch in it. This one, I can taste the milk a little bit more in it. Yeah.
Okay.
But they're very good.
There we go.
Proof.
Are you converted?
I can definitely drink that 100%.
Now, your next mission is to tomorrow morning, instead of having a coffee, have a matcha, and I want to see how you go.
Okay.
Me, personally, I used to get headaches if I didn't have coffee.
Yeah, I get them. I only have one long black.
Yeah.
But if
one long black a day?
One, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Like two, like sometimes, but rarely, usually just the one. Yeah.
Okay.
But I can get headaches if I don't have it. So
I'm the same as that. Whereas when I moved across to matcha, that was the only time I wasn't getting headaches.
Okay.
So I'd skip my coffee in the morning and I'd have a matcha instead. And then I'd like kind of test it. I'm like, okay, so if this has caffeine in it, technically I shouldn't get my headache. And it would come to lunchtime and I'd have no headache. And I'm like, this is a miracle.
That's good.
No headaches. So tomorrow your mission is to try it.
Okay, done.
Before your long black, have this and see if you get any headaches with caffeine withdrawals.
Whether I go cold or hot with it.
Yeah, it depends on the weather. Me, I'll have hot matcha on cold days and cold matcha on hot days.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
it definitely spikes though. In summer, my orders go up a lot too. I think cold matcha in Australia is more popular at the moment.
Yeah.
Because the second summer hits, my cafes are like ordering like double the amount.
Yeah. So are you getting most of your sales from Stockists, or are you getting consumers buying it online as well for home? Like where's like most of your consumer traffic coming from?
Most of it is through wholesale. So I wholesale a lot to cafes. They obviously go through a lot more matcha than what a home consumer would. Of
course.
But I do offer the smaller bags for people to have it at their house and have the comfort of making it themselves, because it's kind of like a ritual. It's like you use a bamboo whisk. It's kind of therapeutic making it. So I do offer them online at my website, www.mrsmatcha.com. You can purchase a bag from there. But a home consumer is going to take, 5 times as long to go through a bag as what a cafe would, because they're obviously turning it over a lot quicker. So my main sale channel is through cafes, wholesaling to cafes. I also sell the small retail bags in Fruitologist and in a few other small grocers that you can purchase on the shelf. But yeah, definitely cafes are my main stream.
Where are you for those who are wanting to race to a cafe tomorrow or even this afternoon or whenever they're listening, whenever they're consuming this podcast? Where can they go and try it in a cafe?
We're actually in over 50 cafes in Sydney. So we're pretty much all across Sydney.
Cool.
If you DM me on Mrs Matcha and ask me whatever suburb you're in, I'll let you know where we are. And on the Matcha, you're having a second drink. That's promising.
Yeah, I like
on the Mrs Matcha Instagram too, I do show where I deliver to, so people can see like what's going to be closest to them in their area. But yeah, pretty much we've got most suburbs covered across Sydney for you to be able to get a good organic matcha from.
Yeah, great, cool.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about like personal branding again, just weaving in like the culture of the product itself.
Yeah.
How important do you feel personal brand and brand culture, brand identity has been for you in the growth of Mrs Matcha?
The most important, actually. I mean, without my own personal brand and without people knowing that I've always lived a very healthy lifestyle, I don't think the brand would be anything today. I kind of intertwine it into my daily life. And when I post about it, it's in a very natural, organic way because it's kind of just my way of life. So I think personal branding has played the biggest part in overall sales of Mrs Matcha. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something that like we're forced to do as well with our agency because again, like people are like wanting to build trust with us,
For
right?
sure.
We can't just hide behind a logo and not really uncover what goes on behind the scenes. And I feel like we're in that shift right now with a lot of distrust across the board. Like every industry is impacted by it.
They want to know your story too. Consumers want to know your story. They want to know where their money's going, who they're supporting. And I know I'm like that. Like I'll purchase things sometimes just because of I know the people that own the cafe or the restaurant. I'll prefer to go to that cafe because I have a relationship with that cafe owner. Absolutely. Or I'll want to purchase from a clothing store online because I personally know the struggle those people have gone through to get their brand to where it is today. So I think having your own personal branding is such an important part of today's day and age. And with social media, it kind of allows us to be able to do that.
Yeah. I think it's like it's definitely not essential. Like I think there's a lot of companies out there that definitely don't need a personal brand, but I think there at least needs to be a brand story.
For
there needs to be that sort of form of human connection, whether that's customer service. Like doesn't matter how big or small the company is, if there's a lack of support from a customer service point of view, you're going to get turned off by that brand.
It's like I always like to say, if you go to a restaurant and you get really good service,
you go back.
You're not going to look for a hair in your food. If you go to a restaurant or a cafe and you're getting terrible service, you're like, they've spat in my food. There's a hair in my food. There's something in this, and the service will turn you off the food, whether it's good or bad. You're constantly looking for something else to be wrong with the cafe or the restaurant because you don't want to return there.
So true. Yeah.
So I feel like service is everything, and being your own personal brand is everything in today's day and age.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. So what are some things that I guess you do or try to maintain as values or at least like brand ethos within Mrs Matcha? And obviously, I guess when you are starting to build the team and hire, like how do you want to create that culture, when you sort of go beyond your personal brand with it? Like what are some of the things you're looking to do to grow and drive growth?
I think always staying authentic to what the brand was originally known for. When I first started out, people were saying, you can mix the product with something. You can mix it with sugar. Like you're telling people to add honey, but why don't you just add sugar into the mix? Because then really you can sell it for the same price, but you're not putting as much matcha powder in it. I will always stay true to the name of Mrs Matcha being an organic matcha powder that is pure. And even though it does have a higher price point and it may be harder to get people across the line because of the price point, I would rather get them across the line knowing that I'm providing them with a good product at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I think no matter how large the business grows, and I do have other ideas and places I want to take the business, I still want to always keep it in that health and wellness space. And I don't ever want it to turn into a brand that is just there to make quick profit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And you're concentrating a lot within Sydney. Like I'm assuming that you're sort of looking for some international expansion. Have you started that process?
I have. We're actually available in Lebanon already at Piccolo Me.
Why Lebanon?
I was traveling there mid-year this year, and I've been to Lebanon a few different times, and they're very much, they follow trends there and they follow trends hard. So with matcha obviously being a huge trend worldwide, when I went over there, I took samples with me. And when I was sitting in a cafe there, I was speaking to a cafe owner. He's actually from Sydney himself, but has moved over there. He has a Lebanese background. And I was explaining to him that I have a matcha powder here in Australia. And I told him I had samples there and he was willing to try it. And now he is stocking it over there as an organic option for his customers. And yeah, I'm hoping to expand to globally in the years to come for sure.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
I love that you carry samples, by the way. You never know when you need it.
I'm always scared at like airport security. I'm like, what if they're going to stop me and be like, what is this? Why are you carrying this green powder? What is this? But yeah, no, I always have to have samples on me.
For sure. And like, I don't know how many businesses that like have like literally grown internationally by standing on the street and handing out samples.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
Sampling your product, and particularly from a founder-led point of view, like that's the best way for you to penetrate new markets.
Yeah, people don't know until they try something. That was actually a big movement in my business too, because I used to only sell 200-gram bags online, which is $69.95. And if someone doesn't know what it tastes like, that's a lot to commit to for something that you don't even know if you like. And I remember I woke up at like 3 o'clock one morning and I was like, I've got to make a smaller bag.
Yeah.
I'm like, people are spending $70 on a drink they don't even know whether they like. I'm like, I've got to make a smaller bag that's like something they can just $20, $30, something they don't really think about, that they can just purchase online and try it and learn to trust the brand before committing to a $70 bag of matcha. So, yeah, it was kind of like a light bulb moment. That was a switch in my business too. Yeah, literally. I remember waking up and being like, that's the problem. People don't trust the brand yet. I need to let them trust the brand before they're going to commit.
I wonder what your dream was when you just woke up.
I would love to know, honestly. Obviously, it's something matcha based.
So good.
Yeah.
Partnerships are obviously, again, key, whether that is ambassadors influencing. We've got, this whole revolution of micro influencers with, and TikTok Shop coming through to sort of like really rival that influencing strategy that we've always known of, posting something and indoctrinating that brand to now micro influencers to sort of macro influencers, literally promoting brands and almost like affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
That I'm seeing a lot of brands starting to pivot. Is that something that you're exploring? Are you sort of tackling any partnerships at all?
No, honestly, not really. I just find if people have purchased my matcha at home, drink number 3. If people have purchased my matcha at home.
That was like 3 gulps then.
There we go. You almost ran out already. Lucky you got a second one there. You're going to be bouncing off the walls. If people have purchased my product naturally and spent their own money on it and post about it, I find that provides way more growth than any micro influencer or large influencer will. And to be completely honest, I've had people with larger followings that are in the health and wellness industry post my brand and it's led to 0 sales. Like it hasn't converted to anything. Whereas I've had mums that are at home and have followed me personally and purchased the brand supporting me, post it, and they've got like 1,000 followers, nowhere near as much as these huge influencers have. And I'll get multiple sales just from the mum being at home being like, oh my God, I tried this drink and it's so yum.
Power of engagement, right?
Yeah. And I think it's a matter of your followers trusting you too. That's someone with 1,000 followers, each one of those people probably personally know that mum. They've seen her post it. They trust, they know that she hasn't been sent this and been paid to post about it. And if she's saying it's nice, they'll be like, you know what? I trust this mum and I'm going to try it too. Or I trust this person that doesn't use Instagram as their sole income. So I kind of find like it works better when it's natural, when it's people actually giving real feedback on the product as opposed to paying a micro influencer or a huge influencer to promote the brand. Like in the past, fortunately, I've never paid anyone to do any posting, but when people with following have posted it, it's led to 0 sales, no conversions. Yeah, which is eye-opening to me, especially because I do often work with brands too. And I'm like, it goes to show your followers really need to trust you to purchase items from you.
Yeah, and what works for one brand certainly is not the blueprint for another brand.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Where do you think we're going with like social media and like obviously you engaging with it, having built, your brand through it, and then obviously a business, understanding the usability of it. I always question that there's going to be an expiry date on Facebook, Instagram, the way that we use it, as is even TikTok. I'm hearing right now that there's a younger generation coming through, like the youngest generation. I don't even know what we call them.
Yeah, they haven't got a name yet.
they're whatever. But they're looking at their parents using TikTok and going like, ooh. Like, so there's like a shift of like this apparently younger new generation that are boycotting even jumping on their phone and using social media. Obviously,
oh my gosh, I love
true.
to hear that.
Obviously, that's not true for everyone. You see a lot of kids on their phone, like knee deep in social media. But is interesting because it makes sense. Like if you're watching your parents doing something like every day and you're sort of just like, yuck, why are you doing that, mum and dad?
Yeah.
Like what's going to happen next? You know, like where do you see things shifting, given that we've gone from Facebook, Instagram to TikTok to this whole new micro engagement world? Where do you see things shifting?
I think it kind of like you said, it can kind of go one of two ways. It will either retract. Like I know when I was in my early 20s, the partying phase was in. Everyone was out every weekend partying.
It'd be weird if you didn't go out.
It would be so weird. Imagine someone back when I was like 21 telling me, I woke up at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning and I went for a walk along Bondi and I got a matcha. I'd be like, why aren't you having fun? Like our idea of fun back then was so different to what the people that are in their early 20s now, what they like to call a good weekend. And I think, that shift will continually happen. So now they're on this health and wellness trend. They're still very much social media based. But like you said, I feel like people are slowly starting to understand the repercussions of social media and how it's affecting their lives. So, I mean, if they've gone from I'm sure us in our early 20s partying, spending weekends partying to now spending their weekends worrying about their health and wellness, there's definitely a chance that they could too shift towards getting off social media, and there could be a trend of like being off social media completely, which I think would be nice. I mean, I hope my kids would be born in that generation because I feel like that was me growing up. Like my dad runs cattle properties. Like I grew up on a farm on weekends. We didn't even have reception to be able to have a phone, to be able to like text people, let alone go on social media. And I feel like that kind of lifestyle is a much better upbringing. So if the future is leading in that direction, I feel like I'm lucky in that I've made the most of what social media has offered us nowadays. But if it does go down that path of people being like, ew, TikTok, ew, Instagram, I wouldn't be mad about it.
Yeah, that's so true when you break it down like that. Like, like we thought and we only knew that going out and having fun was literally consuming alcohol and clubbing.
Yeah.
And then, it's like the younger generation looking at their parents going out and getting turned off by that.
Literally.
Now it's happening with replacement of going out is now very much consuming online so much that's now becoming like frowned upon.
It's like making sure you get your photo of you on the Bondi to Bronte walk on a Sunday holding your matcha instead of like making sure you get a photo of you dancing in the club on a Saturday night. Yeah. Which is a nice transition, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. We'll stay tuned. We'll see where things unfold. What advice would you give other, your followers? I know that you've got probably a lot of people that look up to you and aspire to sort of like, learn more about your story. What advice would you give your followers or other people looking to start businesses or perhaps looking at a trend that they want to create a business out of?
Yeah, I think take every opportunity, honestly, that comes your way. You never know where it will lead you to or who it will lead you to be sitting in front of. A big part of business today is networking. It's who you know. Don't be like disheartened when things don't go through. There's been many times throughout my like business as Mrs Matcha where I've had like big deals land on the table and I'm like, oh my gosh, is this really happening so early on in the business? And it's kind of like they just blow away in the next gust of wind. And it's like there's a lot of empty promises in business, and I think every business owner faces that, but don't let it stop you or deter you from getting to where you want to end up. Still take every opportunity, approach things with your arms wide open, and dream big, because you really never know where you can end up or how far you can take your business. Like I never would have thought. I remember actually at the start of this year, I found it the other day, I was flying back to Australia and I wrote in a notebook my goals for this year. And my goal was to be in over 25 cafes in Sydney.
Oh, you smashed that.
And I've smashed that. I've doubled that already. So it's like, set high goals and set unrealistic expectations, because you never know. Like you never know which way your business could go. I was on the phone yesterday to one of the leading tea suppliers in Lebanon who somehow found out about Mrs Matcha in Australia. Like there's just many different avenues that your business could go down. And I actually have some for you to try too. I have a lady last week who just started making chocolate out of my matcha.
Oh, really?
And she's made a strawberry matcha chocolate, like white chocolate, that's selling in IGAs. And I was like, what? Like, I would never have thought my matcha drink would lead to that.
Have you got some here?
So,
Should we get it?
Yeah, do you want to try it?
Let's do it now.
It's just in there, I think, or maybe in my handbag. It's in here. Perfect. You can try. I actually haven't tried it.
Wow.
And I bought it here because I do need to try it. She messaged me.
It looks like the Dubai chocolate.
Yeah, it's the Dubai chocolate, but a strawberry matcha version. Okay. So she's really jumped on every trend, like the Dubai chocolate trend, strawberry matcha. And she's created this, and it's now going to be available in IGAs too, which I never thought. Yeah, dairy, be careful.
No, that's all right. My skin's going to turn green
Take him
after
off.
this podcast.
Take him off. Teeth.
Is there a bit of dairy in there?
Probably, yeah.
That's okay, a little
for
bit.
sure. Just have a little bit, yeah. But yeah, I never saw my business going in that direction. So always like, don't be narrow-minded. Be open to anything. It's actually, her brand's actually called What's for Dessert Mum, which I thought so cute. Oh.
3-second rule.
3-second rule. Extra antioxidants. Oh, it's crunchy.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah?
Mm.
I feel like we've just become like a taste testing show here for you. That's the much.
What else can I eat and drink?
Okay. A mukbang is happening here.
That's actually really good.
Yeah? So that's what I mean. Like, you never know which way your business is going to go. And to always just keep your options open and, yeah, open to any opportunity.
Great. How good.
Mm.
Next 3 to 5 years, what's the big plans? Now that you're telling others to dream big,
Yeah.
what's the big plans for Monique Riley?
Well, I'm 29 now. I actually turned 30 in a month, which is quite daunting.
Happy pre-birthday.
Oh my gosh, I'm petrified. I've had that many midlife crisis breakdowns.
What are we doing for your 30th?
Boat party for sure. No health and wellness on a Saturday for my 30th.
Definitely not.
No. I think in the next 3 to 5 years, I've always dreamed of having a family. I definitely want to start a family while also growing my business baby, my Mrs Matcha. And one of the beauties of having a matcha business as well, it's not a brick and mortar store. I don't physically have to be there for sales to be made. A lot of my decisions are made when I'm laying in bed on my computer or I'm walking the Bayron in the morning going through emails. So it's kind of a business that allows me to have flexibility, which means I can kind of continue on with life and the journey I've always planned out for myself, creating a family whilst also being an entrepreneur and creating this big business that has huge goals. So yeah, in the next 3 to 5 years, I hope to expand globally with Mrs Matcha. I would love to bring out a Mrs Matcha drink as well, like a pre-bottled drink, and yeah, start a family for sure.
How good.
For sure.
Well, it sounds like you've got a lot of foundations set up in place to achieve those for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Now, if you could start it all over again,
Yeah.
what would you do differently? Or if you could start a new business that's not matcha, what would you do?
Honestly, it's kind of cliche, but I don't think there's anything I would change.
Yeah.
I've kind of
do
gone
it all over again the same way.
Yeah, I've gone into this like head first. I've kind of lived by my own ethos of like taking every opportunity that comes my way. That's a hard question because, yeah, I know I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't made the choices I'd made, if I hadn't had the setbacks in my personal life and in my business life. And I don't think I would have been and my business would be at where I am at today if I was to change anything.
Yeah.
Maybe just stepping down from working for other people earlier and kind of taking that leap and working for myself earlier. But apart from that, no, there's not much I would change because I feel like I'm proud of every moment that I've kind of stepped into. And yeah, I think I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't had the failures that I've had.
That's great.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah. And those jobs that you had, because I think like we all need to learn skills right before we delve into business. Business
for
is
sure.
certainly not for everybody. What were some of the key experiences you had that you feel equipped you to lead that path that you feel that you wouldn't change anything about?
Yeah, so I actually started working from a really young age. I started working from 12 and a half years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, ironically,
slave labor.
In a DVD store, and I was underaged. I lied about my age to get my first job.
Yeah.
And I used to return the DVDs on the DVD store shelves.
Oh, wow.
And I worked
like
there for
Blockbuster or something?
Yeah. In Noosa. It was called Network Noosa. That's where my first job was, and I was there until I graduated high school. But along the way, I took on extra jobs too. I remember I was working as like in hospitality in a backpacker place for a bit, like serving food and drinks. I was working in a clothing store for a while. I've kind of worked in most industries, touched on most industries, which has helped build I guess, resilience and also helped me understand what it's like to be in the sales world. So that's helped in terms of being able to sell my matcha, as well as I worked as an executive assistant for many, many years for very high profile people that have very, very successful businesses. So I think learning firsthand from them was the best way forward. Like I I saw what their world was every single day, and I saw what things they had to do in order to get their business to where it was, and I helped them grow their business to those stages. So I think being an EA definitely helped set me up to be able to start and launch and run my own business successfully as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like hospitality, I started in hospitality. My family's from hospitality. My parents, they had restaurants, nightclubs. We've got a restaurant in Cronulla, and a pub as well. Bobby's Cronulla. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
So my brother runs that with his wife.
Nice.
And when we were growing up, there was, they always had pubs, restaurants. So I've sort of just come accustomed to that industry. And I was working and sort of helping out one of the pubs we had in Sydney at one point, and it's a high stressful environment to be in, but it teaches you resilience and customer service and sales.
To think quickly on your feet.
Think quick. Yeah, that's probably the biggest one, how to think quick. And then retail is like also just as confronting. It's not as fast, but again, that teaches you definitely positioning and selling and communication and, stacking different products.
And the importance of
a
consumer trusting you too. Like I remember working in shoe sales, and I would be blunt. I would be honest. I'd be direct and straight to the point. That's like, it's in my DNA. It's who I am. They'd put on 2 shoes and be like, I'm not sure. And I'd be like, not that one, that one.
Nah.
And they're like, whoa, we don't normally get this from a sales rep. Like we're used to someone being like, what feels more comfortable? Or, I'd be like, no, that doesn't match the dress. Wear this one.
Yeah. That's what you want. That's what
And
want.
I feel like that's where I learned my sales tactics from, and learned that it's so important to be authentic and to just speak the truth.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So anyone out there, go get a job behind the bar or a retail job if you're young and you're still at school.
Many valuable life lessons.
Absolutely agree. Now, I guess outside of work and everything we've discussed, hobbies, I feel, and business and keeping busy sort of go hand in hand.
For sure.
Particularly these days when things are just like 10 times faster and, the output in terms of doing things these days, I feel is way greater than it used to be. I've definitely drawn back on my childhood hobbies more to switch off and release. What's some of the things that you do to sort of switch your mind off, whether it's after work or the weekends? I
love boxing. I've always had a strong love for boxing. I think it's a really good way to get out aggression, to get everything out that's kind of happened in the day or the week. And it's just also a really good way of maintaining fitness. So that's one way for sure when I'm in Sydney. But I actually also every few months need a reset and I go home. So I go back. I actually was back this weekend for the first time in 12 months, which is the longest I've ever left it. I go back home to my mum, to Noosa, to a more like slowed down, relaxing lifestyle. And then I'll go visit the farm and be with dad in the paddock where there's no reception, where it's just cows, and help him out with like kind of just cattle work and things like that on the farm. That kind of just draw me back to my roots and remind me of where I came from. Because you can. Today we live in such a fast-paced world that you can kind of get caught up in it all. You can forget how far you've come. And I struggle with that a lot. Like I kind of tick off one goal and I'm already on to the next. I don't even take time to celebrate it or be like, wow, you've put in the hard work and it paid off. I'm already moving on to the next thing. But when I force myself to kind of step back, go home, see my family, remind myself of where I've come from, I find that's the best way to switch off and kind of wind down.
Yeah, and what better place than Noosa to switch off? So good.
Yeah,
I reckon
it's nice.
For me, like Noosa and Byron, even though they're cliche and quite well-known towns, it's just it's got that element of just calmness, and there's a bit of like brings me back to my childhood growing up there, which it does to you, obviously, with you more so. But
it's frustrating. When I first go back, I'm always very frustrated because I'm like, everyone moves so slowly here compared to Sydney. And then I'm like, within like a day or two, I've calmed down myself. And I'm like, but why am I in a rush to get my morning breakfast? Or why am I in a rush to get my morning coffee before my walk? Like, I should be sitting here like relishing in it and taking the time. Whereas I'm messaging my mum, why are they taking so long for my coffee? She's like, breathe. And I'm like, I'm used to Sydney, or I'm meant to be somewhere else already.
Yeah, we have to practice patience for sure. Being in a fast-paced environment like Sydney for sure.
Yeah.
I think Noosa as well. Like I feel like Sydney is we're awake early in Sydney as a society. I remember Noosa when I was there. I think it was over Christmas or New Year's. It's an early community.
So early.
It was like 5 a.m. and I was like, everyone was out and about. You know, the sun was up.
Okay,
5:30 or something like because like the no daylight savings, right?
There's the walk there, like the national park walk. It's called the Hell's Gates walk. And even when I was there, I was waking up at 5 o'clock on the weekend, 5:30, naturally by the sun, no alarm clock. I'm waking up half an hour before my alarm, and I'm like, what is going on? Obviously, daylight savings kind of helped with that because I was waking up an hour earlier. But the sun's just up earlier. Everyone is up. Like you're on the walking track dodging people at 6 a.m.
Yeah,
like they have such a healthy lifestyle there that they want to be up.
Community.
They're in bed early. You can't go get dinner at past 9:30 there. Like I don't think there's one restaurant open past 9:30 that still has a kitchen that's open.
Right.
Even to go get dessert, ice cream, that's about the limit of it past 10 p.m. and they're all closed up too.
What's the OG ice cream shop there? Is it Massimo? It's not Massimo. It's Massimo or something?
Massimo, and there's like Copenhagen too on Hastings Street.
Yeah.
I think they're the OG ones.
There's a coconut ice cream at that Massimo joint that is
lactose friendly.
Lactose friendly. That's so nostalgic. Like whenever I go there, I'm just like, that's it. My childhood.
Yeah.
In a little cup.
Yeah, literally.
So good.
It's good. It's a good way to reset.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, yeah, I think you've got a good system in place.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And last question, which I had it written down, and it's funny that you've been asked this question that made you won the Miss Universe.
Yeah.
If you could give yourself advice for your 18-year-old self, what would it be?
Circling back to what I said before, take every opportunity. You never know where you're going to end up. I actually, in my top 5 question, answered it that way. I said, take every opportunity. You never know where you're going to end up. You could end up in top 5 standing here on the Miss Universe Australia stage.
So good.
And yeah, same thing with this. Like if I hadn't taken the opportunity to come on the podcast, I wouldn't be sitting here today having this conversation. So yeah, really is just to take every opportunity that comes your way because you never know what door it's going to open up for you.
For sure. And life's a conversation. Yeah, you don't know where it leads.
Exactly.
Very good. Well, we'll leave it there. We could talk for hours, but thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your treats. For anyone who's looking to get Miss Matcha online, where can they buy it?
www.mrsmatcha.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Monique. I wish you nothing but the best. Congratulations on all your success. And have a great rest of the year.
Thank you so much. You too.
Thanks, Monique.
Thanks.